Howdy YouTube, how y'all doing today? So I wanted to make a video today and talk to you guys about my first black girlfriend. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, as y'all seen in other videos, I started liking black women at 5 years old. But you're probably wondering, like, what happened with my first experience, my first black girlfriend. How did that go about? So that's what I'm going to be talking about to you guys right now. Damn locust or whatever the heck that is, they're getting so loud out here. And we cut to another scene. Alright guys, I think I took care of those. Had to go over there and shake the tree and make them all fly away. Anyways, so when I got my first black girlfriend, I was 14 years old. I was in the 8th grade. It was right after I had seen Freddy vs. Jason and I had fell in love with Kelly Rowland. So I was really praying to God that he would send me some girl that looks just like Kelly Rowland. And it was about like the first week of the 8th grade, and this girl came up to me. Her name was Caitlin. And she came up to me as I was putting stuff in my locker, and she just comes up and starts feeling on my arm, and she's like, "Oh, you're a lot, more muscular than you was last year, Joe." And in 8th grade, I started working out, and I started wearing nice clothes, the button-ups and all that. So I was really trying to get me a girlfriend, I've been wanting one for a long time. So the girl started to notice me in 8th grade. And so she comes up feeling on my arm in the hallway and this and that. And then I realized, as she was walking away, I was like, "Hey, that girl looks exactly like Kelly Rowland." And I was like, maybe I got a chance with her. So I kind of began to talk to her, over the next month, just kind of saying hi to her in the hallway and stuff. And she'd kind of flirt with me a little bit. And I remember it's so cheesy looking back now, but I didn't even know how to ask a girl out back then. And I remember I got pretty serious about it, and I wanted to date her because I found out, I'd heard that she was going to ask this other kid out named like Edmund or something. And so I decided that day that I was going to sit down in my math class and I was going to write her a letter asking her out. Keep in mind I'm only 14, so we did that back then. We didn't have text and all that. I know this is a lame story, but it's true. So I started writing the note, and I remember I started it out as it said, "Dear Caitlin," "Dear Caitlin," something like, "This is Joe. I think you're so beautiful. I think your skin is gorgeous. I think your hair is amazing." Just all these things I wanted to write about, what I thought about her, trying to win her over. Luckily, thank God, before I was able to put that letter in her hand, my best friend Tyler Madsen at the time, he comes up to me in the hallway and he goes, "Hey man," he's shaking me, "Hey man, you got a girlfriend now." And I said, "What are you talking about? I got to give this letter to Caitlin. I don't have a girlfriend. I want to date Caitlin." And he says, "Hey man, I talked to her for you. I got her to say yes. She said yes, she wants to be with you." And so now I'm freaking, I'm like, What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Give me the letter." He takes the letter out of my hand, he's reading it, he's like, "What the hell is this?" Just rips it in half, throws it away. He's like, "You don't ever start a letter out like that, Dear Caitlin." He's like, "This ain't the movies, man. What are you trying to say dear something for?" And so the next thing I know, I'm looking for her in the hallway. I'm all, "Where is she? Where is she?" I find her in the hallway and I'm like, "So are we dating now?" She's like, "Yeah." Go on our first date. Our first date was at the Texas Stadium in Garland, Texas. We go there and I'm waiting on her. I'm there first and I'm waiting on her to come in. She comes in. And she just looks absolutely amazing. She's just, at the time, I was just completely blown away by her. I thought she was the most beautiful girl I had ever seen. And so she comes over there to me, and I hug her. She's smelling great, all this stuff. She's got her perfume on. And we sit down at the table, we get some food. We're just kind of looking around, scoping the place out, this and that. And I am so shy to be on this date with her that I'm not even talking. And it's getting really awkward. Her friends are coming up and she's running into her friends. It's like a Friday night, that was the thing to do back then. So her friends are coming up, talking to her, and I'm just kind of just sitting there, just smiling at everybody walking by. I'm like on top of the world. I got my first girlfriend here, and I never thought that I'd even get a black girlfriend at that time. I'd wanted to date a black girl so bad that I was just shocked that I was, in the situation I was in. So as the night progresses, and I'm still not talking, things are getting really awkward, and she's starting to notice this. She's starting to really notice that I'm really shy around her. So I remember she took my hand and starts rubbing my hand, and this and that. She's just rubbing my hand. She's like, wow, your hands are really sweaty. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just really nervous to be here. It's my first date, this and that. But I remember she was like drawing hearts on my hand and stuff. And I remember I was sitting next to her on the little bench, and this other white kid comes up and he's like, are y'all dating each other? And I'm just like sitting there like, yeah. And he's like grabs my hand and puts it on her leg, and then he grabs my other arm and puts it around her like this, and he's like, touch her, dude, act like y'all are together, do something. And I was sitting there touching her leg and had my arm around her, and I was so scared. I was like, man, she's gonna expect me to kiss her or something now, and I don't know how to do that. I've never done that. And I was like, she's so beautiful, how am I good? I was just terrified. I was petrified, and so I ended up not kissing her. We ended up going out on the dance floor. Well, not really dance floor. I mean, it was a dance floor at the time, but it's a skating rink. They tell you, hey, everybody get off the floor with skates, put your shoes on. We're gonna come out here and we're gonna get down. So she starts kind of dancing and stuff. Just as she's like, kind of starts grinding on me and stuff, and I'm up against the wall and I'm just about to pass out, because that's my first time. I get a phone call, and it's my parents, and it's 10:30 at night, and they're saying I gotta go. And I'm just like, man, I don't want to leave yet. And stepdad's like, come on, we gotta go, get out here, what the hell are you doing? It's Friday night, this and that. So I have to leave. I see her again on school at Monday, and by this point, because of that date, I am completely in love with her now. It was very easy for me to fall in love back then. Especially with a beautiful girl. I remember the first time I ever told her I loved her was on the phone. I was too shy back then to tell her in person. So I remember we were about to hang up, and I was like, hey, can I tell you something? She's like, yeah, go ahead. And I remember I sounded so stupid. I'll never forget it. I remember thinking I sounded just like Forrest Gump. I said, I love you. And I was like, oh no, man, why'd it come out like that? And she just bust out laughing at me, and that embarrassed me so bad. But she's like, oh, I love you too. But she wasn't in love with me. She just didn't want to make it awkward. She'd also wrote a note to me in the hallway. We talked through notes more than we ever talked in person. I was just, like I said, too shy back then. She wrote a note to me one time saying, have you ever kissed anyone? And if not, I really want to kiss you, and I think we should start smooching. That was her exact words. We should start smooching. Just the thought of this was just too much for me. I was just like overwhelmed that, here's this beautiful girl and she wants to kiss me. And, in my mind, she's the most beautiful girl in the whole school, so what a lucky guy I am. And at the time, as far as I knew, we were the only interracial couple in that school, so people, they would see us in the hallway and they'd always be like, oh, that's cute. And the funny thing was, I was so tall. I'm like 6'3" right now, and she was probably like 4'11" or something. I mean, I was probably six foot at the time. I've always been very tall. So we were, a very odd couple, so to speak. But it was fun though. But unfortunately, before we ever got a chance to do any of that smooching, she had wrote me a letter and gave it to me in the hallway, and I remember I told her thank you, and she handed me the letter with a big smile, and then she just kind of looked at me a certain way and had a look on her face and was like, I'll see you later. And I thought that was kind of strange, but I kind of like, as soon as I got to the classroom, I kind of knew what the letter was going to say just by her body language and the way that she looked at me right then. I knew what it was. And what the letter said was, basically I've had a good 4 or 5 weeks, however long we were together, 5 weeks with you, Joe, but we're just too different from each other. And she said that I'm too outgoing and you're too shy. And she said, I just can't be with you anymore. When I read this letter, it literally this was my first heartbreak. It literally broke my heart in half. I was so heartbroken over her that I tried to get back with her for 3 years. I followed her all the way into high school. I would write her letters and stuff and just tell her how much I loved her and how much, you know, of a good time I had with her, and how I thought she was so beautiful and that we were supposed to be together. But eventually, when I got to high school, I found that there was more fish in the sea and that a lot more girls liked me. So after 3 years, I eventually moved on, and I'm glad I did, because I wouldn't suggest anyone ever waste your time on anybody that doesn't want to be with you. You know, after a certain amount of time, if they're showing you all the signs like, hey, I don't want to be with you, just move on. Don't be like me at a young age. You know, I was still a child, but you know, some people just have to learn the hard way, and I was one of those people. But anyways, guys, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you like this story, please let me know down in the comments. Also, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, guys, I do not have a Patreon set up yet, but if you would like to donate to this channel, show some love, support to me for the videos I make, it is much appreciated. I will leave in the description my Cash App. That's the only way to donate to this channel as of right now at the moment. All the proceeds will be going to a new camera for you guys. I'm trying to get the GoPro 9 so that I can better edit these videos and just give you better quality, better content. Stay tuned this week. I'm going to be making more videos just based on stuff like this, about black women and my experiences with black women. And I'm even going to be making a video this week of why I went to the office, because of my love for black girls in high school. So you don't want to miss that video. But until then, guys, I'm Joe Jones. This is the Cup of Joe Show, and this has just been your Daily Dose. Oh, I almost forgot, guys. Look at this picture. This was me in high school. I looked really, really weird. I mean, this don't even look like me. People told me back then that I looked like Peter Pan. So this is me without all of this. So take a look at this. Hell to the no. Yeah. Can you believe that's me? No, sir. Kind of looks like this guy right here. Yeah, he looks a lot better than me. But yeah, that's me.